All right, welcome back to Newsday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, that's Femi Gbajabiamila, on Tuesday this week told officials of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative during a visit that there is no set timeline for implementing the Steve Oronsanye report. The former Speaker of the House of Representatives dismissed claims that the report had stalled and emphasized that the federal government is diligently working on necessary arrangements to ensure a smooth rollout of the policy at the appropriate time. What then could be the major impediment of implementing the report, which majorly aims at reducing the cost of governance in Nigeria? Well, Arise News analyst Jide Ojo joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Cynthia.
Good afternoon. Right. That was my colleague.
And Mumbai.
But she'll continue from here. Good afternoon. Thank you.
All right. Let's get straight into it, Mr. Ojo. This Oronsanye report seems to have more lives than a cat. It has been through so many administrations. It resurfaces, gathers dust, resurfaces again. What are your thoughts? Is this time around going to be our lucky opportunity to actually implement this report?
Not so fast. I do not see any salvation in the implementation of Oronsanye report. Let's backtrack a little. This is a detailed report. It's completely outdated. This was a report done in 2011. It's 13-year-old. As at the time it was submitted to former President Goodluck Jonathan, he set up a committee to come up with a white paper. That's a Mohammed Adoke committee. Adoke was then the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and Adoke committee sat on it for 3 years. And eventually they issued a white paper in 2014 that stripped the Oronsanye report of its entire meat, leaving the skeleton, which is barely 10% of the recommendation of Steve Oronsanye report of 2011. And as if that was not enough, 2014, it was kept in the cooler until the twilight of the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, who dusted it and set up two different committees, one led by Amapapu and I think Abaji, to also draw the implementation plan. They never succeeded. Now, President Tinubu, in February or January this year, clearly told the eight-man committee that they have 8 weeks. They have 12 weeks. 12 weeks, that's 3 months within which to implement this report. And what do we see? In August, the Chief of Staff to the President is telling us there was no time limit, as if we were hard of hearing. So they just want to kill it in view. I knew quite a number of leadership of MDAs were never comfortable with this report. And there were news reports that there were a lot of lobbying, behind-the-scene lobbying, to frustrate the implementation. And it will seem that they have succeeded. There was even very recently that House of Reps committee decided to review this same report. And you ask yourself, was this necessary at this very stage? Leaving all of that aside, a 2011 report that you want to implement 13 years after, are we saying that there have not been new ministries, departments, or agencies? Just last month, President Tinubu announced the establishment of Ministry of Livestock Development. Just last month, the President announced the creation of 2 development commissions, Northwest Development Commission and Southeast Development Commissions. According to the Punch newspaper editorial, there were alleged to be 1,300 MDAs in Nigeria. 1,300 MDAs. Now, if you now merge about 50 of them, is just like a slap on the wrist. It's not going to make any significant difference in the cost of governance. So that obviously you cannot in one breath say you want the implementation of Oronsanye report, and you as a president will go ahead and create additional 6 new ministries in your administration, in 1 year of your administration. President Tinubu created Ministry of Steel Development, created Ministry of Tourism, created Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, created Ministry of Arts and Creative Economy, created Ministry of Livestock Development, and which other one? About 6 of them. So in one breath, you want to reduce cost of governance. Then in another breath, you went about having the highest number of ministers in the history of this country, 48 ministers. By the time he names the new ministers of livestock development, there may be one, it may be 1 or 2. Then the number of ministers will move to 49 or 50. So where do we go from here? I'm not excited at all. And Femi Gbajabiamila can say whatever he likes. Just let it know that in bureaucracy, in administration, there is something called KIV. KIV can mean keep in view or kill in view. But it will seem to me, personal opinion, that Oronsanye report has been killed in view.
All right, Mr. Ojo, if that's your interpretation of this, we definitely respect that. But I'd like to ask you about to talk about the relevance and applicability of the reports, considering all the time that has passed. Do you think that it might need to be updated based on the fact that the recommendations might not fit today's context to a T?
That is what I had expected President Tinubu to do, to say this Oronsanye report is dated. Can we have a technical review committee that will bring us up to speed? In 13 years, there have been additional ministries, additional departments, additional agencies that have been created. For instance, aside from all that I've mentioned, there was the creation of National Commission for Persons with Disability. There was Police Equipment Trust Fund. Every year you have new commissions, new agencies, new ministries being established. As at the time Oronsanye committee reported submitted its report, we do not have we do not have University of Nigeria Army. We do not have University of Nigeria Navy. We do not have University of Nigeria Air Force. We do not have special university for the customs now wants its own private university. So it used to be NDA. If you want to have university degree, if you go to NDA, you can get a university degree. But today, all our service chiefs are competing with themselves to have a university for their own services. Maybe DSS will also establish its own university, just the same way they have been establishing their own radio and television. So what I'm saying is that what the president ought to have done is to have taken an introspective look at that Oronsanye report and have it to be updated. Update it. But not only that, I dare say, the biggest elephant in the room for Nigeria is corruption. Even with all of these ministries, departments, and agencies, what is the quantum of resources that is going to servicing them? Look at what the former Accountant General of Nigeria was alleged to have embezzled, over 100 billion. Now we learned he's trying to do plea bargaining. If that kind of money was not stolen,
we just have just over a minute left with you, Mr. Ojo. Just as we round up with you very quickly, what do you think needs to happen for this report to be implemented, or do we need to scrap it completely? Are there any conditions that can be met for us to get the ball rolling? Very briefly, please.
no matter how long you go in the wrong direction, you need to backtrack and redesign your movement for you to have success. If they go ahead with implementing the carcass of Oronsanye report, I wish them well. But I can tell you, with the benefit of hindsight, it will not amount to much in terms of reducing the cost of governance. Because the much of the resources that led to the ballooning of the cost of governance is in the stolen wealth of Nigeria. It's in the corrupt practices of some of these bureaucrats. And there are quite so many examples to be cited. So if you don't plug all of these loopholes, if you don't cut down the expenditures of some categories of elective office holders, you are not going to have significant savings. That is my own point. But to say that implementation of Oronsanye report is a silver bullet, I beg to disagree. From what we have seen, the lobbying that is going on and the vacillation, the fact that the presidency is vacillating, they are not prompt in the implementation. It means that they want to just kill this report in view. And it will have been ideal to have updated it and see possibility of having it implemented, because part of the implementation strategy will have needed the National Assembly to scrap the enabling law that created those institutions that are going to be merged. We have not seen one executive bill sent to the National Assembly for the scrapping and the scrapping of those institutions that are being merged. And yet, they were all set up by Act of Parliament. So whatever you do administratively, you still need legal backing to make it effective. And by next month, the new budget for 2025 will be in place. You are still going to be making budget for these current MDAs. Absolutely. So the time to have implemented this should have been very early in the year.
Arise News analyst, Mr. Jide Ojo, thank you for doing justice to this topic in spite of the little time that we had. We appreciate your time and insight here on Newsday. Thank you so much.